What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Talking TV with Lex, and today we are talking Marriage Boot Camp Hip Hop Edition Season 16 Episode 3. Y'all, this episode was crazy. Joseline is crazy. Bianca and her boyfriend are crazy. Just an overall super crazy episode, but a very entertaining episode nonetheless, and I'm super excited to do a review on it. As you're watching, make sure you comment along, let me know what you're thinking of the review or what you thought of the episode. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. So if you're interested in hearing all about what I thought about this episode, please continue to watch. This episode picks up where we left off in the last episode, which is between Bianca and Chose. They are into it again. And honestly, I couldn't even tell you what they were into it about when they went to sleep. But then when they woke up, the argument became because Bianca discovered that a girl was calling him, and not only that a girl was calling him, but that the girl's name was saved as a heart, strike one. 2, she knows exactly who the woman is, and he's told her that he hasn't been talking to her, but he obviously has. And he lied the night before when she asked who he was on the phone with, strike 2. And 3, apparently this girl is somebody that Bianca has beat up before for him messing with her. So it's just automatically all bad. I think if anybody was in this situation, they would be super duper pissed off and angry. And then Bianca is just an angry person anyway, so of course she's going to be off the rails. But nobody knows that happened. Nobody knows that Bianca is upset. So when Bianca comes down, she's not really in the mood to talk to people. She kind of catches an attitude. She doesn't say hi back to Joseline. And Joseline gets upset. She's like, I'm sick of her always having an attitude. She's a cancer in the house. And automatically I'm thinking, Joseline, you've been a difficult person throughout this entire time in the house. You have no room to talk. But something about Bianca just completely rubbed her the wrong way. So they have a conversation about it, and to my surprise, everybody in the house kind of feels like bad about her, that she has an attitude. They don't understand why, but they don't know that she's upset because of the situation. All they're really going off of is what Bianca's boyfriend has said. He's playing her out to be angry. He's playing her out that she's always going off for no reason, when, like I said in previous reviews, in reality, he's doing all of this stuff to upset her. He's messing with other girls that she already has told him she doesn't want him talking to. He's still doing it, but still in all of that, he is making her out to be this crazy person to the rest of the house. So everybody's just assuming she's just walking around with this anger and this attitude, but the whole time he's giving her reasons to act like that. So Bianca automatically feels attacked. I think I would feel attacked in that situation. 1, I'm not required to speak to anybody in this house. That's for 1. 2, if I'm upset about something, I'm kind of that person where, like, I like to stay to myself. Not because I have an attitude towards anybody else, but just because I'm upset, and I'm more than likely probably trying to keep from having an attitude with people. So I'm just staying to myself. So I didn't really like how they were trying to make her seem like she has all these issues, because she really didn't want to fool with nobody. Because like I said, she don't owe nobody a hello or any type of explanation anyway. So it's, you know, she's feeling very attacked, like everybody's coming at her, and I totally agree with her. Bianca, I noticed, is a crier. I also am a crier. I cry when I'm upset. I cry when I'm happy. I'm a crier. But it's funny for her because she puts off this really tough exterior, and she's always talking about beating people up, and we've seen her on Love and Hip Hop be kind of, you know, feisty and have this attitude. But I think it just covers up what she's already feeling, and that sadness. And that actually ends up being the case, because she's talking to Dr. Ish, and she tells him that she's been dealing with depression, she's had suicidal thoughts, and a lot of it has to do with her relationship with Chose. Now, I've been saying since day 1, they just need to break up. He has been stressing her out so much to the point that she's been depressed and wanting to kill herself. He makes her out to be a crazy person. All they do is argue. He's talking to other women, and not just other women, women that she's had issues with. And from what he says in the house, he feels like they're wasting their time by even being there. So I'll say it again. I'm not going to feel bad about repeating myself. throw the relationship away and let it go. And I really am starting to feel bad for Bianca because she really is dealing with a lot of issues and everybody is attacking her. Not saying you can just go around beating people up and doing whatever, but at the same time, this man is really taking her through something, and instead of checking him, they're going off of what he's saying and making her feel like she's this crazy person. So I really didn't like that. It ends up becoming a argument between Bianca and Joseline because Joseline feels like she has an attitude, and then eventually, you know, I feel like Bianca was being very calm about it, but eventually she gets tired of it and she fires back at Joseline. And I was happy that she stood up for herself because I really felt like Joseline was out of pocket. Joseline was like, you know, I have all these things going on. I have a daughter that I'm fighting for. Just making it about her, saying all of this kind of in a way to diminish Bianca's feelings, like because she doesn't have a child and because she's not dealing with having to fight with a baby daddy about a child, that she shouldn't be walking around with this attitude. I felt that also was out of pocket. You can't diminish somebody else's feelings just because you feel like what they're going through is less than what you're going through. You're all going through something, and nobody is entitled to feel or act a certain way with what they're going through. So I really wasn't on Joseline's side. I really didn't like how everybody kind of jumped on Bianca. And honestly, for them to play out like she's such this angry person, she really, to me, other than crying, I felt like she was handling it in a good way, because in all honesty, I would have went off on everybody in that house. Point blank, period. Because it's nobody's business and nobody has the right to tell someone how to feel, especially when they know the whole situation. Because even when they found out that Chose was talking to somebody else, somebody that she had an issue with, then they're like, okay, now we see why they're upset. So maybe y'all should have took the time to ask her, what's bothering you, sis? Or just leaving her alone to deal with her problems, which is what she wanted to do anyway. But I did really like how Ajua, you know, really took to her defense and was like, you know, don't come down on her like that. Let me see what's wrong with her. And it's revealed later that she was like that with her because her daughter, Ajua's daughter, actually committed suicide after a breakup with a girl. So Ajua felt like she really saw her daughter in Bianca because it's kind of the same situation. She's had suicidal thoughts after, you know, her situations with Chose, and it was the same situation with Ajua's daughter. So she really steps up to help her, and she had a lot of emotions, rightfully so, because she said, you know, it took her to that place of, one, seeing her daughter in that way, and two, wishing that she would have had the opportunity to help her daughter when her daughter was in that situation. So I felt so many emotions just in that little opener that they had. You know, anger for how Joseline was dealing with Bianca, feeling a certain feeling towards Bianca for how she feels, anger towards Chose for just being an immature asshole as always, and then, you know, that sadness for really feeling for Ajua in her situation. Even though she's such a strong woman, I feel like she handles every situation she's put in with such class. And, you know, her and Styles P have really been a helpful team and with everybody in the house, because they even did it later with Joseline, which we'll talk about. But I really love how she stepped up to help her. But at the same time, that sadness that I was feeling for her, and the fact that she lost her daughter in that same situation and she felt like she didn't get the opportunity to help her. So all that literally happened like in the first 10 minutes of the episode. So that's how you know this episode was a banger, and they just had so much going on, because I felt so many different emotions just in the beginning. But like I said, very entertaining nonetheless. So the therapist decided that they're going to split up the group for this week's challenge. They have one half of the group that go to this pool party with all these random extras that they found, and then you have the rest of the group who get to watch them at the pool party, but the people at the pool party don't know that they're watching them unless they've seen past seasons of Marriage Boot Camp. Then they should have known, because they do this every season. And even if they didn't know that, they know the entire thing is getting taped. So even if the people aren't seeing it at that moment, they're going to see it at some moment. So you think that they would, act a certain way. For the most part, everybody was pretty cool. Like, Shani, she's not going to do anything crazy. Ajua, same thing. Stu was on his best behavior, but he said later that the only reason he was on his best behavior is because he knew that they were watching, or that they were going to see it. So basically, if he felt like he wouldn't have been seen, he probably would have been acting a fool, which maybe is why Miss Chalet acts the way she does. You know, it could be another situation, kind of like with Bianca and Joseline, where you hear Stu saying, oh, she pawns me off and I don't do anything and she's just crazy. But maybe it is a situation where he do be out wilding out, and because he does that, she acts the way she does. I wouldn't be surprised at all, because, you know, from how he acted, and CeeLo's girl called him out on the end, and we're going to see, you know, how that plays out in the next episode. That was the kind of the tease for next week. Kind of called him out on it, like, you playing games, sir. Point blank, period. So he was on his best behavior, but only to prove a point, which really kind of defeats the whole purpose. The only person who really wasn't on their, well, the only two people who really weren't on their best behavior are Joseline and Chose. Bianca expected Chose to act the way she acts. She actually said, you know, in this type of environment, I'm not a jealous person. She says, you know, when they're out having fun, like out at a party, there's going to be a lot of girls. She doesn't really mind that. He's just doing that to have fun and enjoy the party, which I totally get. She only has an issue when it's, you know, she finds out that he's been talking to a girl on social media or been talking to a girl in a different situation, and they continue to talk to each other. More so that it's being like a consistent conversation happening versus, you know, them just turning up together at a party. Even though you can meet somebody at a party and it turn into something consistent, but I see what she's saying about how it's a different situation. So he wasn't really acting the best, but it wasn't really anything that made her upset, which is good because they didn't need any more issues than they were already having. Joseline, she didn't do anything that I consider cheating. She was just being over the top. But we know Joseline to be over the top. She's a partier. She likes both men and women. She likes to drink. She likes to turn up. They say she's an entertainer, which I guess she is. Not a musical entertainer, but entertainer nonetheless. You know, so she's just trying to get everybody to have fun. So, you know, she's getting people to drink. She's twerking. She's telling people to skinny dip. And, you know, if you know Joseline, you know that's just her personality. And honestly, I didn't think it was that bad, but Ballistic was getting very, very upset. He felt like she was being inappropriate. They were all twerking, and we've all seen Joseline twerking anyway, so I didn't see why it was a big issue twerking, but that really started getting his blood boiling. But it was when she fed some fruit to a guy, and when she told Chose not to tell them what they were doing, that he just completely blows up. He runs outside and he's like, we're shutting all this shit down. Party's over. Party's over. You need to get inside. He knocking over the poor plants and breaking glasses, child. Like, all this set stuff that they spent all this money on and probably needed to return, he done broke even though it did nothing to him, child. Joseline got him so upset. He's like, you need to treat me like a king and you're acting like a nut. What killed me through this whole situation is he literally watched her do everything that she's doing. He's made it clear that he's seen everything she's doing, and the whole time he's yelling at Joss, and she's like, why are you mad? What'd I do? Like, she's so much like a guy in a relationship, because you know you send them super long text messages explaining exactly what a man did to you, every single receipt you have in the book, and he will still text back, what you mean? What you talking about? And that's exactly what Joseline did. So, way to stay to the lie, child. Just act like you don't know what's going on. And when she took off running, I completely lost it. Like, their whole dynamic is so funny to me. All he does is call her out, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Stop it, babe. Quit doing that. But I am glad that she has somebody who can reel her in, because with somebody who has a personality as crazy as Joseline, you need that sometimes. And don't judge me, I thought that shit was sexy. Like, the way he came in, like, get your ass upstairs, you ain't about to be acting crazy. He didn't put her hands on her, he didn't choke her, he didn't call her a bitch, he didn't do anything crazy. All he said was, you need to calm down and quit acting foolish, which she was. And I just thought it was so sexy how her man came and put his foot down, and she took her ass right on upstairs. I'm sorry, call me toxic all you want to, but that shit was sexy. Way to put your foot down, Ballistic. He doesn't want to talk to her, which isn't healthy, but I get that he's upset. So Styles P and Audra, who I just can't say how much I love them enough, is like, we'll go with you to help him hear you out. So they're like, you know, at least let her apologize, hear what she has to say. And And as mad as he is, when she got down on her knees to apologize, which I don't agree with, but she got down on her knees to apologize, he was like, get up, babe. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And that's when I really saw the care. Like, the anger went out the window. He just cared for, you know, how she was coming across and the respect that she had. And she starts crying and she feels really bad. And he's like, you know, it's okay. It happens. And they make up. Because in my opinion, yeah, I can see how it can be a little annoying. Like, why you got to do the absolute most. But at the same time, you got to know who you're with. And Dr. Ish said it to him, like, you know Joseline likes attention, you know she likes to turn up, you know she's this type of person, so you can either decide to deal with it and stay with her and just be with her in spite of that, or you can decide to let it go. And I think in his situation, he loves Joseline so much that he's willing to put up with that. But at the same time, I think she's starting to realize that she has to reel it in just a smidget. Well, really a lot, but at least some, if she wants to, you know, have a good relationship with this man. So, like I said, so much happening, so many blow-ups, but that was like the crux of what happened in this episode. And child, when I said I had my drink and my popcorn and was into it. So the Bianca Joseline blow up and the Ballistic and Joseline blow up is really like the main thing that happened in this episode. There was so much going with that we didn't really get a lot from the other couples. There was a moment with Styles P and Adjoa when he was watching her get attention at the pool and him seeing, you know, her not feeding into it and being the great wife that she is and has always been. He said he started to feel guilt because he's cheated on her multiple times. He's treated her terribly, but at least to his knowledge, she's never done anything back to him. And it just made him feel guilty because he keeps doing all this stuff and she continues not to. And, you know, he even said that if she did step out and do something, he couldn't even feel away because he's put her through so much. So I'm glad that he has learned, you know, what he's done to her and how good of a wife she's been, and really starting to feel the guilt and repercussions of his actions. But at the same time, I get really frustrated with men when they say things like, I think she should just move on to somebody else. Like, why not just step up to be the man that she wants you to be? Like, it kind of feels like more of a cop-out when you're like, well, she deserves to be with somebody else. Yeah, she does deserve to be with somebody else, but she wants to be with you. Y'all have kids, y'all have history. So instead of doing the easy thing and being like, oh, go be with somebody else, why not really take the time to work on yourself and really step up to become the man that she ultimately deserves? So I hope that that's his plan being on Marriage Boot Camp. I don't think he really means it when he says that he hopes that she ends up with somebody else, because he loves her and I don't think he wants that. But at the same time, he needs to take responsibility and step up and be that man instead of being like, she deserves somebody else. You know, make the right move, Styles P. But I love them. They've been doing such a good job, not only with their own work, but with helping the other couples in the house. And I think that's beautiful. I think they all, because they've been together the longest, see themselves in the other couples and want to help them get to a good place. So that's really beautiful to see, and I like that. CeeLo and Shaunie, like I said, we don't really get much from them, honestly. Like, yeah, I'm not saying I want to see them argue every day. Like, that's not healthy. But at the same time, I still don't really get what their issues are for myself. Like, they tell us what they are, but I haven't seen it. And I just want to get the real from them because I want them to actually get help. Like, we're only on day 3, true, but, you know, 10 days will go by really fast. And if you're not really putting the full effort, how can you really work on your thing? So that pretty much wraps up the episode. It was a really good episode. It's been a really good season just in the last 3 episodes that we have, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. So thank you so much for tuning into my review. Let me know in the comments what you thought, if you agree, if you disagree, what you thought of the episode, what you think is going to happen next, anything you want to share with me, you know, your favorite color, do you like walking on the beach, whatever you want to share with me. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends if you're feeling friendly. I truly would appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!